right, so for everybody who doesn't know, this is Ashley. She is my youngest brother's wife, and she has a very successful company with apparel. So it's only natural if we're going to launch the Asphalt Bo line that we're going to seek guidance from somebody who has been there and who has done that, because this is brand new to us. And so one of the things that I want to do is I want to show the people who are going to watch this exactly how to do it step by step with a little to no budget. So, when I started my asphalt company, I did it with $100 and a work ethic, and we built that to over a $20 million company now. And I know your story is similar to mine, right? You started with a low budget, next to nothing, and grew it into $1 million company that you have now. And so what I want to do is get some insight from you, what we should do first steps, and maybe along the way, we'll do a couple podcasts, really get down into the nitty gritty of the information and kind of teach people how to replicate the success that we've had as business owners, and so that they can do it for their own lives, right? So with that being said, kind of walk us through your story of how you got started, the inspiration behind it, what were you doing at the time, all that kind of good stuff, and how you got to be so successful as you are now.
Yeah, so I'm Ashley. I'm the owner of Bamboo Bliss. So I actually started my business after months of research. I put so much research into finding, a quality vendor, and that was the biggest step before I ever even, showed product to anyone, because that is the most important part, is really good quality, which has also brought me to where I am as well. But I have a bamboo pajama and apparel company. So it's anywhere from babies to adults. We have blankets, crib sheets, and bamboo is a highly desired product. So that also goes with the quality needed as well to run a successful business. But I actually discovered bamboo when my son was 3 months old. He's a year now. And I did probably 3 or 4 months of research and really found my market and my niche. I know that there is a niche for bright and fun designs, which is what I do. I work with a handful of designers to help design the prints that go on my product. But kind of like what Matt was saying, is I started my business with nothing. So I started on a pre-order based model, which is where I offer a lower price up front, because essentially you're getting a loan from the customer to buy your goods, right? And if you want to start a business with no money, like I didn't start with anything. In fact, the samples that I got I was so broke that the samples I bought was like dinner on the table for my kids. So after I got my samples and I found the vendor I wanted, that's when I made a VIP group on Facebook, which was my best friend. That's how I really started my business, because it's intimate and you engage with your customers, getting their opinions, which is a lot like Asphalt Boss is doing with the Boss Apparel, getting opinions from you guys. I've seen a ton of posts in the VIP group asking, what color, how do we want this design? And I think that's really important when you are targeting your audience, is what do they want? You want to give your people what they want. So that's something that has made me successful too, is I listen to my customers and essentially give them what they want. And again, back to the pre-order thing. The incentive to a pre-order is there is a turnaround time, a 6 to 10 week turnaround time for my industry. I don't know, it would differ when, if you wanted to do shoes or whatever. It really depends on the turnaround time of how long it would take to be produced overseas and brought over. And then, the incentive to a pre-order is there's a lower price. So, for example, a pre-order price for one of my pajamas is $24. A retail price, which is ready to ship, is $36. So there's a huge incentive to buy, and I'm still making a ton of margin, and I'm not putting any money up front. I'm also not buying product that may not sell, because you base your order to your manufacturer with a pre-order based on what sells. So if you're like, okay, well, the black one didn't do well, I'm not really gonna order a ton of that, but I'm gonna order a ton of the tan color because it ordered. So really just gauging, the best part about doing pre-orders is gauging popularity to be able to put your money where the bang will be when you launch your product ready to ship. So I do recommend offering some sort of pre-order to get started if you don't have money to invest in product up front. And I am a huge believer marketing is obviously what's gotten me to where I am as well. When I first started out, I didn't know about like paid ads. I didn't do anything paid. I'm telling you, I did everything, a ton of legwork. I have a girl that works for me that has done this with me since the beginning. She's been like my right hand go-to, and we both did a ton of guerrilla marketing. So we were posting in Facebook groups. We were, you know, when I say guerrilla marketing, is not like, hey, come buy these pajamas. You have to think of a psychological way to engage the customer where you're not telling them, hey, come buy my pajamas. Like, it can be a thing where you're you know, doing a poll and seeing what the customer likes. It can be a, hey, help me name this print. Like, you know, what do you guys want to name it? And then you're bumping, your customers don't even realize they're commenting on your post, which helps algorithms on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, because they're commenting their opinion. So that's the biggest thing with getting opinions too, is it makes your customers feel heard, but also it's helping you help them, because they're bumping your post, getting the algorithm boosted to the max, and you're spending no money doing that. So when I mastered that, there's a lot of Bamboo, you know, community groups that have really helped me in the beginning, because they had so many viewers and I was able to post. I'm telling you, I was so aggressive. You can never be too annoying when you're posting and advertising. And I think that's advice I've given other Bamboo owners who don't do as well, because they feel like they're being annoying. I'm here to tell you right now, if there's a customer out there that wants to buy from you, you're never being too annoying. If they find your posts annoying, they're not your customer. And that's just how I've seen it. And you have to
do what makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it was uncomfortable, but now I'm like, I am very aggressive, and I come from a background of retail management. And so essentially my role as a manager was to drive sales. And so any way that I can drive sales, if there's, you know, an opportunity with sales every single day, because I don't wait around for sales to come to me. I'm like, let's offer free shipping today. Let's offer 15%. And it's a psychological manipulation to the customer, because they think they're saving all this money, but they're just getting free shipping.
Right.
And you're still making all this margin. So it's really about like finding your passion also, right? Like, I'm passionate about Bamboo and the benefits that come with it, because I have 2 babies and I was buying from other large Bamboo retailers, and I became passionate about it too. And I know the ins and outs of Bamboo more than most people probably would. And so that's what I recommend when you're trying to find something as well, because you don't want to just start a business for something that you don't have a passion for, because it never works. Because I'm a firm believer that your passion like oozes out of your soul when it comes to your business. Like, right. And I show my passion. I put blood, sweat, and tears into this business. Even when I'm not here in my office, I'm at home, you know, working until 1 a.m. So I put blood, sweat, and tears, and it takes a lot. Like, I quit my job the day I did my first launch, and I just said a prayer, and it worked out. My first drop, I did $38,000, and it was brand new, and it was all pre-order. I put no money up front.
Now explain to us the drop, right? For those that are watching,
yeah.
I'm familiar with it because I've been around you.
Yeah.
But as far as the drop, walk us through that process of, like, you know, how you go from deciding what to put out to opening it up for the public to purchase, and then kind of walk us through that process, and then how long it took you to get that first $38,000. What time frame was that after you opened the drop?
It was 9 days. So it was 9 days. We determined that every Friday, so we do another one. We do our last pre-order drop today. So I'm moving into bigger and better things. This is our last pre-order, and I'm going strictly to ready to ship, because I'm to that point where I can be ready to ship.
Big time.
Yeah, so anyways, we figured out the sweet spot to keep it organized for customers with how crazy life is for people. We do a drop every single Friday or every other Friday, depending on what we have going on. We figured out the sweet spot with a pre-order is 2 weeks on Fridays, because that taps into essentially 3 pay periods, because by the time you hit your 2 weeks, you've hit 3 pay periods for some people, 1 or 2, depending on how they're paid. So it's also a strategic thing for us, is trying to capture just something from that customer by giving them 2 weeks to get it, right? So I come out with, you know, X amount of prints and X amount of styles, depending on, again, what people vote for, what they want, because you're gonna sell more if you're giving them what they want. So I put out, you know, exclusive prints to my brand that they can only get them with me. You know, they're not something they can just go to any retailer and get. And I give them 2 weeks to buy, you know, whatever their heart's desire. There's no limit. They can buy whatever, right? And like I said, I have multiple designers that I work with, and it goes from, like I said, that Friday, not the next Friday, but the one after that. and it's exclusive. They can only get it for those 2 weeks until when it goes away, it comes back as ready to ship, and my ready to ship drops sell out in minutes when I do ready to ship. So
basically, you built your method on it's available now. If you don't get it, you don't get it.
Right.
And then that also helps drive incentive to purchase right away through the roof. So for us, right, as wanting to launch the Boss Apparel line, the first thing it sounds like we need to do is build the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, I need to build like a Facebook group, right? With that audience. What does that audience number need to be realistically? If I want to have the same results you did, mm-hmm. how many people do I need to have in a Facebook group, and how do I get them to participate mm-hmm. enough to where I know, okay, if I put out, these 4 designs, these 8 designs, whatever it is, and we'll get there. I'm going to ask that too. But if we put out these designs, they're going to purchase. So how many numbers do we have? If I have a Facebook group, how many people have to be in that Facebook group? And then what do you look for participation-wise? Scale.
So when I launched my first pre-order, I guerrilla marketed the heck out of my stuff for probably a week and a half before I launched. I created the Facebook group and just advertised, and I think I was up to like 500 people when I did my first pre-order, because I'm like, okay, if I just get 100 orders, like that's my goal.
Right.
And night one, we had, for the whole pre-order, we had like over 1,000 orders. But so it was really good, because by the time I had started and then finished my pre-order, I had already doubled the members, because they're talking to their friends and we never stopped advertising. We still to this day never stop, because you're never going to grow if you just depend on the audience that you currently have.
Sure.
There are going to be, I hate to say it, there are going to be bad experiences with some customers, and then you've lost the customer. So if you're never constantly advertising, you're never going to grow. And so I'm very aggressive when it comes to putting ads out, whether it be free or you spend your money on it.
Nice. And you've grown your membership from 500 to how many now?
I'm almost at 8,000 people in my VIP group.
Wow.
And on Instagram, we're almost at 10,000 followers. So
wow.
Yeah, we have learned the sweet spot with Instagram. So we started with Facebook, then we're like, okay, this is just one audience. There's an entire different genre of people on Instagram, because your average person is either a Facebook person or an Instagram person. And I happen to be a Facebook girl. So that's kind of how we started out with the VIP group. I have an Instagram account, but I don't ever personally use it. We only use it for business. But there's an entire, what you call, bougie crowd on Facebook. And I think for you guys, that would be your sweet spot, is putting ads out of y'all's stuff on Instagram, because your average bougie shopper, is like a higher quality and sweat outfit that you guys are doing, I think is an Instagram kind of go.
Okay.
And then you link your VIP group on your Instagram, and then they're able to join from there. And it's like, the more followers we're getting on Instagram, our VIP has just skyrocketed, because they've seen the link in our Instagram, and they're coming in.
Okay.
And then they feel intimate, because they're like, oh my gosh, we get to have a say so, we get to interact. And Katie and I are in there as individuals, not a company. Katie is background. She is my right-hand girl that does everything with me. We are in there as me and as Katie and Ashley versus Bamboo Bliss. So it's just very intimate, and customers love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So after we get our group and we have at least 500 members, I guess the next step is to put out. Did you put out polls of like, hey, what kind of prints do you guys like, and then decide, or did you just put out the prints? Like, how, walk me through that process.
Yeah, so we did, I just picked, for my first launch, I picked 5 prints that were just really popular movies inspired by Disney. And after that, I had a styles request thread that still is there to this day, that people can comment on anytime and still do all day long, of like what they like to see.
Okay.
So then you start to notice a trend, because you're like, multiple people have suggested this, multiple people have suggested that. And that's kind of how we start to build our collections for the future, is constantly getting their opinions and seeing what they want. We even do different styles, because if you just go with one style of print, not different styles, because you're only going to do that anyways, but the type of print, like I do watercolor prints, I do, bright and fun prints, I do more like the beige, they call them beige sad moms or whatever, whether the neutral prints or whatever. And so you're catering to as many people as you can when you do that. So I also recommend doing that as well. It's in different styles of prints, in my case, for me. For you, different styles of You know, maybe someone likes gold embossed hoodies, but maybe someone likes a matte black, you know, kind of, you know, style. So as many people as you can tap into their style, I recommend doing that too.
Okay. And so after you have the style and you decide you're going to launch, what storefront online do you guys use, and then how do you get your audience from your group to there? Right? You drop the link. Do you already have them pre-registered somewhere and they're just waiting? How does that work out? And what storefront do you use?
So we currently use, it's the #1 platform for e-commerce businesses like myself. Is called Shopify. It's very user-friendly. There's really no competitor for an e-commerce platform like that. So Shopify is your go-to. It is so easy to store inventory, to have products that you can make go live, go away, you know, build your website for the free templates. And it is free to use. There are percentages for transactions and things like that, but for your first initial go, I'm actually having my site completely revamped right now with a pretty expensive template that allows you to do all kinds of things with videos on your website and just high end. As we grow, we need to constantly upgrade. And but I recommend Shopify, and we link that. That is something else we do in every single post. It could be something that we're not even advertising for sales, and at the bottom of every single post we do on Instagram and Facebook has a link to our website. Okay. Because algorithms are not in our favor, and you have to constantly, you know, rob that. So if a customer hasn't seen any posts from us all week and they see something strolling along and they want to shop, we don't want to make them look for our link. We want them to be able to click it, and you've snagged your customer. So it's just as convenient as you can make it for them, as user-friendly as you can make it for them, because, you know, people also don't want to look on a website that's chaotic, that's not organized. They want to shop and they want to check out. And Shopify also owns the Shop Pay that most big retailers use. And I recommend that as well because it stores the customer's information. I shop all the time and I use Shop Pay, and it's a one-click checkout. Again, it's as convenient as you can make it for your customers, because you know how crazy life is. You want to, you know, hurry up and go and you're done. So Shopify is your best friend for that, and you can make changes anytime, and it is like instant and very easy. I'm not tech savvy when it comes to stuff like that, and it's very easy. Anyone can use it.
Okay.
Do you know about the tool on social media that you use to send out posts, schedule posts?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we do that as well, just to keep ourselves organized, because we're constantly posting. Like I told you, I have an employee who does that. That's like one of her main duties is to post on all platforms, and she does utilize the schedule of posting. We do that so one, so we don't forget, and two, we're like, okay, we know what time most of America gets off of work, so we're going to schedule it right when they are getting home and settling in. Right. Also, something of why we do our drops at 8 p.m. Every Friday is everyone's at home on their phones. You're not trying to beat traffic. You're not trying to take kids to school. You've most likely already done dinner. Not if you're like me. We're, you know, struggling to eat dinner at 10 p.m. But most of America is at home by 8 p.m. and you can see how many people are on your website when you do that too. So we've done a lot of trial and error with stuff like that.
And so that's one of those insider information, right, that can really make or break something. If we don't know any better and we drop it 4 o'clock in the afternoon while people are at work, we may have no results, where if we would have just dropped it at 8. We see that all the time with the YouTube our YouTube algorithm, where sometimes we'll drop and immediately it'll run 2,000 or 3,000 views. And then other times we have videos and we're like, this is going to be a hit. Absolutely. It's better quality. It's done right. And then all of a sudden time is wrong. And we've got 4 views and you're like, what?
So timing is also, but people are not like, if you're like me, I'm not patient. So if I can't get something to work the first time, you've lost my interest. Like, and I think I'm sure most of society is like that, where like, you know, we had a drop a week ago, and our discount code that we had for the first hour, because we strategically do this too, to like pump out sales within the first hour. We do a coupon code that only works the first hour of the drop. So 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. It forces everyone to check out, and you're like, wow, in an hour we just did 25 grand. And so it's another strategic way to drive as much traffic to the website as you can. And we made a mistake the other day, and again, it happens. I've been in business for just over 6 months, and it happens. We made a mistake where we didn't have our coupon code correct, and we lost a lot of sales because of that, because people are not patient, right? It needs to be right the first time, or they're not coming back to give you another chance. Now, were there a couple people? Yes. But most of the time, if they can't get it to work, they've lost interest and they're moving on. So as much as you can have organized, prepared, laid out, everything needs to be ready to go.
Right.
Which is also why we do it at 8 p.m. to make sure that Katie and I have all day long to make sure that the website, the products, the inventory, the mock-ups, which is what I was working on before we started this video, because we have a drop tonight. It's to make sure all that's perfect. And, that's also why I have Katie, because she'll run through 2 hours before and just constantly click on stuff. And that's what no one tells you about when you get into this kind of business is, like, it looks easy because you're selling and, you're making all this money, but there's a lot of logistics that go behind the scenes that you don't see because it's e-commerce that people don't think about.
Right.
So management of making sure everything is correct and triple double checking everything is going to be your best friend as well.
Okay. All right. So wrapping up, we appreciate all the advice, and we will absolutely do more of these videos because we're going to have so many questions going through. But for those who want to find you and your brand, give us your link, tell them where they can find you so that we can drop that in the comments. And anybody who wants some bamboo pajamas, blankets, whatever, all that stuff I got tons of it around my house. It's all great. If they want to find you, how do they do that?
So, our website is Bamboo Bliss Co., like company, bambooblissco.com. And our Facebook group is called Bamboo Bliss VIPs. When a customer feels like they're VIP, it is, awesome. And so I call it a VIP group. So it's Bamboo Bliss VIPs. And our Instagram is Bamboo Bliss Magic. We strategically made magic part of our name because a lot of the prints we do are Disney inspired or magical prints. And that's another way that we tapped into algorithms to be in our favor to pop on people's timelines that want the kind of prints that we are running. So our Instagram handle is Bamboo Bliss Magic. And like I said, if you have not tried bamboo pajamas yet, you are missing out. When I am at home, I live in them, my kids live in them, and anyone else who knows about it knows how addicting they are to buy, which is why people buy from me every drop, because it's like the thing to do. If you are not buying from every drop, I don't know what you're doing.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time.
Thank
you. For all you guys that want to follow our journey from the very beginning to the very end, we're going to see if we can't duplicate the kind of success that Ashley's had with Bamboo Bliss right here with Boss Apparel. And if you guys want to follow us along with that journey and learn how to do it yourself, do me a favor, hit the like button in this video, subscribe so you don't miss anything, and we will show you to do exactly what she did, and hopefully we can do as well.